For TJ, just on that track for defensive player.
Yes,
That's
you got to rack these up though. You rack these up, it makes it even. Yeah, I feel like it'll make
it's probably
it
what between
cut.
him and Donald right now.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It's probably just them two, really.
Because I feel like everyone else either has taken not a step back, but they haven't been on the same level of productivity as the year prior, or they just haven't flashed like that. When we're talking about Gilmore, he hasn't made the thing that made him so good last year. Not just the coverage, but it was the pick sixes. When you pull up the stat of, well, you scored more than the people you were covering. That's crazy. That was crazy. So that was that whole thing. Then when you talked about guys like Chandler Jones or Shaq Barrett, when you see the 19 or 19 and a half sacks, like, oh, that's crazy. Shaq, I think, Shaq, he was NFC Player of the Week, not Player of the Month. But he's produced. He's had a couple of sacks, but nothing to the level of TJ. And like I said, with Chandler, he hasn't made noise to that level. Tre'Davious hasn't been producing to that. I mean, in order for a DB to get, you got to have picks. You got to really be going crazy. Yeah, we haven't seen that from those guys. But with Donald and TJ, man, they definitely have been on a tear every game this year, putting up whether it's interceptions, forced fumbles, multiple sacks. Yeah, those two guys I feel like are the front runners right now.
It was a quiet player of the month, in my opinion, for TJ.
Yeah, for TJ, yeah. Well, I think the first game he had the pick, but he really didn't have any other like wild play. We were more talking about Bud. Then against Denver, made some plays there, and then obviously the Texans game, he had one. He had 1 sack in the Texans game, but he had the big tackle for loss on the end around reverse and everything like that. Yeah. So
I don't know. Just seeing 3.5 sacks and just his stats, it's like, like I said, it really feels like KD whenever he's dropping like 35 or 40. Yeah. You're like, oh wow, he's having an amazing game. That just came up on me quick though. I didn't really realize it like that.
No, yeah, absolutely.
3.5 sacks. Yeah, these are all numbers. This is kind of what you expect from TJ. Like if anything, it feels like Bud's jumping out a little bit more.
Just about to say that.
I don't want to sound like a jackass or anything. But
I promise, I was thinking the
like
same
I said,
thing.
TJ, it just feels more quiet, and he's just doing his job, and he's just being TJ. Absolutely. Whereas with Bud,
Bud is flashing.
Yeah,
it's like you're seeing wow this year watching Bud, and that's kind of how it was last year. Last year we would say wow every time watching TJ, and then Bud had the quiet. 11 sacks, 11.5 sacks last year. It was quiet. No one really, we talked about it, but nowhere near to the level of how like when TJ was making plays was like, yo, this is crazy. This year it definitely feels flipped, but I think because of TJ's reputation now, he's to that level where you put up the numbers, it does not matter how flashy it was, how wow or not it was, you're going to get that type of recognition. And we talked about this last year with the awards. We said, man, typically you got to have that crazy year first, and then everyone starts to go crazy and talk about you. And now you start getting the flowers, right? You start getting the player of the month or player of the weeks, and then ultimately your end of the year awards. So, man, I think TJ's right on pace for that. As long as he stays healthy, man, and keep doing what he's doing, yeah, looks good.